Welcome in, guys. This is the Fantasy RX. Give me the hard pills to swallow this fantasy football season. My name's Kame, former champion from last year. That's my boy Ruel over there.
Yeah, I mean, I've won a league or two. I'm no professional, but we just want to talk to you guys, try and see if we can help you through your season a little bit. And what's on your prescription for today is going to be just kind of a fantasy draft guide. We're going to be going through the rounds, telling you what to look out for, different fantasy strategies you can try, and then by the end we'll give you our sleepers and we'll round it off with a mock. So, if that gets exciting, if that sounds exciting, let's just get right into it. Tell me about these first 5 picks. Where do I want to be? Where's the drop off? What do you think?
I think the drop off comes right after you see Puka, JSN, or Jamargo. Right?
Oh, okay. You have it a little bit later.
That first wide receiver, right, off the board. Because I don't know. I mean, if you have smart league mates, you should go Jameer or Bijan 1 or 2. No matter who goes first, doesn't really matter. And then after that, it's, a good mix right there with Jamar, Puka, and JSN. After that, it gets to a point where you have some questions out here in that 6 to 7 range. But yeah, after picks 1 through 5, which I think should be the same in every league, it won't be because you'll have some dumb league mates, here and there. But yeah, I think the drop off happens after the 3 wide receivers are taken off the board in whatever order they are.
Are you saying the drop-off is 102 is over, Bijan Gibbs are gone, now I have to deal with this, or the drop-off is after those wide receivers?
The drop-off is after, in my opinion, 106.
Okay.
Depending on how high you are on Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is my go-to standard first-round pick this year, because I don't see myself getting any first-round picks, high first-round picks. I'm not that lucky.
No, we just don't get lucky around here. It's fine.
Yeah, we just don't get lucky around here. We just win championships.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah, so I don't see myself getting a 101 or 102 or even, God forbid, 104. So I'm just trying to target Amon-Ra as much as I can in most of my drafts. I think he's a safe floor guy in that first round with, a good 20 points a week maybe some weeks. But he'll get you 15 and he'll consistently get you that.
But
every week,
are you confident enough to take him over any of those one of 3 or those 3 wide receivers, or are you more talking about over the CeeDee Lambs, the Devon Achanes, and the Jonathan Taylors of the world?
I would say over the Devon Achane, CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylors of the world. Devon Achane, he's the only offensive weapon out there, but he's in Miami.
Yeah.
Who else is in Miami? Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles. Is that offense gonna, put up 33 points a game again? CeeDee Lamb, yes, he's also in that area. He's going a little later than Amon-Ra, so if I get a little later pick in some of my drafts, I might pick him up. And even someone like Christian McCaffrey, who didn't get injured all of last season, but that just means an injury is likely to come this season. Statistically, so. I don't know. I think Amon-Ra is the clear, outside of the top 5, in my opinion, the clear number 6. But you can get him at 8 because people are starting to overvalue people like CMC, Jonathan Taylor, and even some Devon Achane fans out there.
Which I get, I love opportunity, but I tend to sometimes be big on, talent needs to meet opportunity, and well-structured opportunity is not always the same thing as just here's the ball, here's the ball, here's the ball. But I kind of want to talk about these wraparound picks a little bit because clearly, that's what you're doing, 1 through 7. You have some clear-cut names. But I think compared to, 107 to, 110, compared to that 111, 112, 111, 112 kind of seems really nice. Some of these running backs, I wouldn't mind. James Cook, Hampton. I'm not a huge Chase Brown or Genty guy. I know you're not a Genty guy.
Yeah,
but
I'm not a Genty guy.
If you're going running back heavy, Kenneth Walker, I like a lot of these guys on the turnaround. What I don't like is some of these wide receivers, though. A.J. Brown, love the new team, not fully confident there. I don't know.
Questions on Drake London, Nico Collins with the quarterback over there. George Pickens, same as CeeDee Lamb, too many mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice, can he stay away from the cops is the biggest question.
Yeah, right.
But I kind of like Devontae Smith or Chris Olave in that area the most. And if wraparound running backs, if I could walk away with James Cook and Chase Brown after rounds 1 and 2, I'm a happy man. Sign me up for that any day of the week. Chase Brown, PPR monster, RB2 halfway through last season, won me a fantasy title.
Damn.
And James Cook, the rushing leader, touchdown monster, even with Josh Allen vulturing a few of them at the 1 yard line, still gets in a good amount of receiving work.
I want to ask you
offense,
though.
yeah.
Say, hey man, I just picked Bijan or Jameer. I'm so amped,
Mm-hmm.
but shit, like they're gonna make me pick again. If I had to pick one of these 9 through 12 guys on our big board, Nico Collins, George Pickens, Devontae Smith, Rashee Rice, who are you confident in and would go well with one of those running backs?
I'm going with Devontae Smith, and a lot of people are gonna sit here and be like, yeah, a lot of people are just like, how are you gonna trust the Eagles in a passing offense?
I'm one of those guys. You're talking
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. But that's just the giant fan in you. You don't really see it clearly. But for me, it's those quick slants. Those screen opportunities, and then he's just a deep shot threat, and you get that boomer bust play where if you have that solid 20-point per game running back, your wide receiver one can afford to be that. Maybe scores 5 points, right? But also has the ability to score 30, and then all of a sudden you're scoring 180 points in a week because Bijan and Devontae Smith decide to score 60 of them by themselves. So I like the Devontae Smith and Chris Olave really in that range, and George Pickens I would take. I would just be a little wary.
Yeah.
If I had to, I wouldn't. Devontae Smith and Chris Olave are going to be the wide receiver ones. George Pickens is a wide receiver one, forced to be a wide receiver two in that offense.
That's true. It's a sad world.
And it's just a sad world. Yeah, if fantasy could be fair, George Pickens would be on the Browns or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't wish it. I don't wish being Cleveland on anybody. So
I don't even wish that on Shadur Sanders. But
yeah.
I want to talk about this kind of like next tier of wide receivers that I'm getting. Say I'm wrapping, like I'm just getting into the third. This is still exciting times. I love Egbuka this year. I really do. I was a Glazer last year already, and he didn't even come into the season with like solidified target earning. But I think he's going to blow up this year. It's a basic, super basic pick because Mike Evans is gone. I don't think Mike Evans even cut into his targets that much. I don't think they're the same kind of guy. But I just think this could be a really great year for him. Baker's on a revenge year. Sophomore season, allows him to have his body more physically ready because that clearly like did not go well for him at the end of the season.
Towards the end of the season was just not there. He was just not able to contest for some of those balls, and that's what I'm scared of. Like he had a pretty good, beginning of the season, middle of the season, and then towards that end of the season, he just didn't really do much. And I had him on a few rosters. I had to make the hard decision to bench him, for some players earlier in the season that were lesser than him, but were vets that, as season progressed, were able to still play.
Yeah.
I'm not really liking Egbuka going that high, so I'm gonna stay away from him in that third round range. If he drops to the fourth, maybe we'll take a flyer on him, but I'm good off Egbuka in the third round.
Hey man, I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Give me someone you're excited about in like kind of that middle of the third round range.
Yeah. I mean, really looking at it, I'm reaching for Quinshon Judkins here. In this third round, if I'm trying to do zero RB and I come off round 1 and 2 with two wide receivers, let's say it's like Amon-Ra and George Pickens or Chris Olave, someone like that, I'm going for Quinshon Judkins here. I don't really like this next little crop of running backs here that are going in the third round.
Yeah,
maybe
it's not
Kyron
consistent.
Williams. Yeah, maybe Kyron Williams, but even then he's scary. Javonte Williams again in the Cowboys, they don't really run that much. Scatterboo, DeAndre Swift is gonna lose most of his share to Kyle Monangai. So I'm reaching for someone like Quinshon Judkins, RB1 in a shitty offense, yes, but was a pretty good running back when he had the touches last year. So I'm reaching for someone like that who's right now going in the 4th round and was going in the 5th round, but is kind of slowly climbing up some draft boards. So by the time you're drafting, might be 3rd round ADP.
I respect that just because, hey man, that's a thing in fantasy too. You're not going to be able to get all your sleepers at the ADP that they think or that you think that they should go according to like consensus. So you're going to have to reach, especially if you're a 0 RB, because I'm just like you there. That like 12 to 24 running back range, I don't super love it. If I'm in the 3rd round, I'm hoping I have a running back by then. I'm hoping that I can go with that wide receiver because I really like that side of the wide receivers more.
Yeah, the wide receivers do look interesting this year in the third round range. Who are you really eyeing up there?
In that early 3rd round range, I'm still looking at Buka. He might even fall to the end there. And say I'm going like late 3rd, maybe early 4th, I'm talking about Luther Burden for a little bit. I know what I'm saying. This is like the exact profile as Egbuka, except he started getting his targets later, but he did more with them into the season.
Yeah.
A lot of my fantasy strategies revolve around just committing to good offenses and offenses that are gonna be even better than they were last year. That's kind of how you can get ahead sometimes in this kind of thing. It doesn't always work because Luther Burden, he had like no targets last year. But
0.
I think it's a good time to invest, even at, you could argue this is a really high price for a guy who did what he did last year. Like, you're paying a lot to get this guy. I think it could be worth it in that 4th round.
Yeah. For me, I think that just might be a little training camp hype. But again, if it works out, it works out in that 4th round. Here, I'm looking at someone like Jalen Waddle or DJ Moore, who are kind of in the same mold, in my opinion. 2 vet wide receivers on new teams with big arm quarterbacks that, can go deep and can be the wide receiver 1 in these new offenses that are starved for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the fact that you can get them in the 3rd or 4th round. So if you went RB heavy, you can get your wide receiver 1 here. If you went, 0 RB, you could still stack up on a 3rd really good wide receiver. Or if you went wide receiver RB, running back, you could get your wide receiver 2 here, who has the ability to be the wide receiver 1. And I do agree with your stance on, if you're unsure, draft the player in the better offense. And you can't really go wrong with that. If they're in the better offense, even if they're a bad player, shout out Keon Coleman. They can get a few touchdowns here and there, or score 20 points in week 1 and convince you to start them the next week.
I think it was like 28 too. It was crazy.
It was a good amount of points. But our friend started him the next week and forgot to start someone else and gave us that same old fancy excuse. Oh, if I started him, I'd have won.
I hate those.
Yeah, bud. Yeah, I hate those. Just be a good manager,
Start the right guy. All right, so let's do a little activity before we get out of this 3rd and 4th round range. How about I'm gonna give 3 wide receivers that I'm like comfortable passing on, or at least like think, like if I can steal them, I can steal them, but I'd rather not in this range. And then, do you want to give us 3 running backs?
Yeah.
All right. First up, everybody hates on this guy, but it's Zay Flowers. This is like the same thing as the Eagles to me, because how often do Lamar's wide receivers touch the ball outside of weeks 1 or week like 14 plus? I don't know what happens in the middle of the season, but Lamar doesn't always hit wide receivers, and he did just get a lot of money, but Zay Flowers he's not the build that I want there. T. Higgins, you already have the wide receiver 2 problem, but I feel like nowadays that T. Higgins ceiling's just not as high, and the floor is hasn't been there for years with T. Higgins. Finally, if you're picking Mike Evans in this range, you've lost it, bro. Like, he's done. He's done.
Yeah, you've just told your fantasy teammates that you're just donating.
Yeah, like, thanks for letting me play, guys.
Exactly. Don't be drafting Mike Evans out here. Running back wise, in this range, I'm passing up on Travis Etienne,
Oh, okay.
or Travis Etienne, as he likes to be called now. Um, I don't know. I just find it in a weird situation. I do like the offense. I just think that there's going to be some random running back who takes a few touches off of him. Alvin Kamara is still there, and I think he's the third down back still. And I think this is a little too high for him to go. That's really my basis there, but I could be very wrong on him. David Montgomery, I mean, I like him a lot. I just think he's on the wrong side for a running back of 27, 28.
Yeah.
In a Houston offense that didn't really run the ball better.
They didn't do
Last
anything
year,
better.
no, they didn't. No.
Don't invest in bad offenses, man.
Yeah, exactly. And their offensive line didn't improve, and and then Travion Henderson. I mean, this is gonna be a
You're
little.
dodging him,
I think
really.
he popped off last year. Agreed, but I think he's getting appreciated a little too much. Where he's in an offense with still Ramondre and still Drake May, where they could easily vulture those goal line touches and touchdowns. So, that really goes away. And then you're kind of just waiting for that boom 70-yard play, which will happen a few times throughout the season. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think if he's your RB2 or your flex, I think this is a good range for him in that 4-5-ish range. Maybe even late 3 if you went RB, and then you're looking for another RB before you go wide receiver in the 4th and 5th round, which, I mean, is a pretty good strategy because the wide receiver class is deep this year.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm just hesitant on Travion Henderson, especially because he has a big brawly quarterback, that can, push the ball into the end zone, plus a big brawly running back that's waiting there to steal those goal line touches and those easy points for a lot of running backs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm dodging those guys, but still at the end of the day, now that we've reached like round 5, I hope you have 2 running backs. It's gonna get kind of ugly if you don't have 2 running backs by now.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Yeah.
And part of what gets us into the strategy of, because let's be honest, when most of our drafts will have 2 running backs by now, what could get you away from that is changing positions. We're not like, I'm pretty sure this is true for you, but I don't like taking QBs too early. No. I just think it's a very not always the highest upside position. I think you can get them later. So now that we're at round 5, are you looking QB yet, or are you still looking for your guys?
Unless I'm getting Josh Allen with a rounds 1 through 3 pick, I don't really care about drafting a quarterback until rounds 8 through 11. That's when I'm really targeting a quarterback. And
so you're not even there yet. You're not even. I'm not
even close. I'm not even sniffing him. If I don't get Josh Allen the past 4 years in rounds 1 through 3, if he doesn't fall to me in a place where I'm like, I kind of like my wide receiver 1 and wide receiver running back 1. Let me take the best quarterback in fantasy football, averaging damn near 25 to 30 points a game easily. Fair. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, if I go, so this year my strategy relies heavily on, first round wide receiver, rounds 2 and 3, I need my running backs.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm reaching, I need the running backs, cuz after that I'm other than like Jadarian Price, who goes in round 6 or 7, I'm not really sure what other running backs to draft. Kyle Monunga is up there with me.
I like him.
I like Monunga. I think he's going to get a good amount of touches. But you could get his that makes no sense to me. They basically split him and Swift split 50-50 touches.
But Swift is going all the way up there.
Swift's going 3 rounds ahead of him. So I don't get that. But if I don't get my running backs in round 2 through 4, then I feel like I'm in trouble, because round 5, that's when I'm drafting someone like Brian Thomas Jr. or Carnell Tate.
So you're going upside.
And yeah, I'm going upside here in these rounds heavily with wide receivers. Carnell Tate, again, could be a good offense, but I'm kind of buying a little bit of the training camp hype. I've seen the videos. I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver in this NFL. I think Brian Dable's a good coach, and I think, he's going to let Cam Ward just absolutely sling it. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
And Brian Thomas Jr., I feel like he has the ability to be a wide receiver 1 in round 6 on a good offense.
I don't know. Because the recency bias gets people stuck in the idea of like,
exactly,
he's
of him
ass
being
now.
bad.
Like you see players get back from injury.
He's a young kid.
But I mean, at the end of the day, the price is the price. Like I'm still not 100% confident that he's going to be better than Parker Washington this year. Like
but they're going to the same place. So if your conviction leads one way or another, you can get either of the wide receiver 1 on the good Jacksonville Jaguars offense here in round 5 through 6.
We're just saying it's a good gamble. Either way you go, you invest in a good offense, and especially in these late rounds, you're taking shots, like you're trying stuff.
Yeah, you could even have a friendly wager with one of your league mates where you draft Brian Thomas and the other one drafts Parker Washington and see who does better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that makes a little bit of no sense. I mean, similar to what's happening out there in Pittsburgh, where Michael Pittman or DK Metcalf, and I mean we got Aaron Rodgers' old corpse over there.
Yeah.
So you could draft someone like that if you really want to get like a reliable, I guess, 8 to 10 points a game, maybe a boom game where they get 2 touchdowns because they're big bodies down by the goal line. But yeah, this round's 5 through 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm really just shooting my shot at players that I think can, finish the season as a top 10 in their position. But the value of, getting them drafted as like the 25th or 30th wide receiver or running back off the board. That's really where I'm going at.
I feel like you definitely covered kind of the wide receivers range and even the running backs, but I did just want to go back on these running backs to talk about for a second.
Yeah.
We live in the most shared running back backfields of all time. This isn't 2009. We don't have that many just straight up workhorses. Yeah. Adrian Peterson's gone, man. He's not doing it anymore, and no one's doing it like him.
Yeah.
So it makes these rounds a lot more interesting for running backs, and it makes that 13 through 24 that much scarier because I don't think there's much inherently wrong with being committed into a committee of running backs. A lot of people nowadays will tell you he's the number 1 guy. That exists on maybe 10 teams. I think for the most part,
I would say less.
Right? It's not a thing anymore, which means you can take these shots off the top of my head, Manungai, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Gainwell even. Without bias, Tracy. There's a lot of these committee guys that deep into the draft, they're going to get you points, and it's not just hey, I'm going to draft a rookie because maybe. No, they're going to actually get work.
And God forbid injuries do happen, having one of those guys stashed away on your bench, all of a sudden you're getting hit up with trade offers, valuable trade offers in the middle of the season to improve your team because you drafted the right committee guys. So I mean, we do live in the committee era of running backs.
Bro.
And I mean, people got scared. There was a tweet the other day that McDaniel said that we're gonna ride the hot hand between Vidal, Hampton, and Jarrett Patterson, and everyone started to flip shit. And I'm like, well, Hampton's still gonna get 60% of the touches.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Literally.
I feel like that's better just because you don't want your starting pitcher, even in baseball, to just pitch all 9 innings. You want them to pitch 6, maybe 7. Be fresh and then pitch again, So I think you want your running back, they take a lot of hits. You don't want them getting more than 200 to 250 touches in a season.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You just want them to be efficient. And I think you got to look for the running backs that are going to be efficient with their touches. And, I think the ones that are going to get the goal line work and they're just going to average out to be more efficient. So I do like someone like a Kenneth Gainwell, but is he going to get the goal line work he did in Pittsburgh? Let's see if he does it in Tampa. You know.
Hey, you know Bucky's not touching the goal line, bro. They're not putting that body on the goal line again.
Yeah.
Another guy that's, once again, this is gonna be later than round 5. If you're picking him before round like 7 or 8, just don't do it. Blake Corum's another one of those guys. You see Kyron and you're like RB1, which he is on the depth chart. Don't get me wrong, but Blake Corum, he's gonna play his 40% of snaps. He's gonna give you 10, 15-point weeks with a reliable 7.5. That's just the world we live in, and that's why you want to try and get 2 very solid guys early. But if you don't, be ready to stream. But before we move on from this like middle range, I want to talk about the 3rd and 4th best tight end right now in fantasy. Loveland and Warren.
Yeah.
We kind of passed them a little bit. I'll be honest, like they're probably gone by the rounds that we're talking about. But I love these guys, man. Like I think they're both gonna look so good. Loveland just he's the perfect receiving tight end, and he's in one of the best passing offenses in the world. And Warren just because he's gonna run that entire pass game, especially with Pittman gone. So if you can find those guys in the 4th round, go for it, man. And if they're in the 5th, like, count your stars, because I don't know, I really like them.
Yeah, I mean, I was banging Tyler Warren's drum, since last year, and sadly Ruel stole him from me.
You know what I did? He went to Penn State. Come on.
Yeah,
but
he kind of took him from around, but I did make sure to get him in a few of my other leagues.
Yeah,
and he did not disappoint.
Not till it mattered,
of
course.
It's a lot of those short passes that really gets him where Daniel Jones just sees him as an outlet where you dump it off and he can run after the catch. Get really downhill and just start mauling people, but. Loveland didn't really do much. Everyone was hyping him up last year too.
True.
Didn't really do much until those like last few weeks, and then he had a game against Cincy where I feel like everyone has a game against Cincy.
Right.
But I feel like he can be really good. I just don't trust Ben Johnson as a play caller to consistently get the same people touches because. Play callers like that like to keep defensive coordinators on their toes. And outside of, Caleb getting his, Monangai getting his, and Swift getting his, I think the pass catchers, they're going to be a little bit more scheme dependent. So if you're into that type of thing, I would look at, what defenses that Loveland can exploit just based on matchups. Are they going to put safeties on him or linebackers on him? Does this team let up a lot of points to tight ends? I would think it's a little bit more matchup dependent for the Bears pass catchers. That's why I'm a little hesitant about them. Because Ben Johnson is a smart guy, and he's not going to just force feed someone.
And that's what makes them a good offense, like we're talking
about.
So
Exactly.
It's risk and return.
They could just score 35 points a game, and everyone gets theirs at least once in the game, and that's enough to go around. But I'd be a little hesitant on that, but I do like Warren and Loveland. I do think they're the 2 best tight ends outside of McBride and Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
and
the drop off to me is still intense with these tight ends.
The drop off is intense. It's just that for me, tight end is like quarterback. Like I'm not like until round 8. I'm not looking at anything other than running backs or wide receivers. Me personally,
I get that. I like to have my advantages at tight end. Sometimes quarterback.
My entire fantasy career has been like that. I've never really switched up from it. Maybe I might do it this year. Maybe I might surprise people and take Josh Allen in the 3rd round. Who knows? But my fantasy career has just been keep it to wide receivers and running backs through round 8. And then, look at that tight end in round 9, then look at that quarterback in round 10, and then, whoever I want to sleep on rounds 11 through 13. There.
Speaking of sleepers, man, actually, right before we get into sleepers, we were talking about quarterbacks. Who are, give me at least one name of these late round quarterbacks that you're like, hey, I would actually be satisfied over here.
Yeah. Quarterback wise, I'm looking at more of like real late. But if I
Yeah.
was looking at, that right after 8, he could be there. Caleb Williams. I mean, we've
Mm.
talked about almost every other Bear today.
Yeah, I
We've
know.
talked
You
about
got to throw
Swift.
him. He's the only one
We've
that's
talked about
actually going to get all the touches.
exactly. He's gonna touch the ball every single time that offense gets on the field. But I think Ben Johnson's gonna let him run a little bit more. He's gonna get a
Yeah,
little bit
that's
more rushing
exciting.
touchdowns. Exciting for fantasy, and I think he's just gonna finally be a 4,000 yard passer for the Bears, which they haven't had in their entire
That'd
history,
be
believe it or
beautiful.
not. Um, but yeah, I just think he's gonna and he's gonna be available in that round 8 ish. But
I
I
could see
think
it.
he might pull up a little 7, maybe 9 if your league mates are sleeping on quarterbacks as much as I do. But outside of that, like if I don't get someone like Caleb or a yeah, really just a Caleb. I'm waiting till pick 150, and I'm taking either Tyler Shuck or Kyler
Mm.
Murray.
Okay.
And I think they're both going at like pick 150,
Those are good
something like
streams, though. I
that.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. So those, and I'm drafting two of them at that point because I need
Yeah,
because
yeah. You
because
need
because when you're
options.
when you're when you're that late, you need to. That's only downside. When you have one of those blue chip guys, the Joshes, the Lamars, the unfortunately Drake Mays now, Joe Burrows, the Mahomes, you only need one of them.
Yeah.
You're starting. You're just gonna keep them in your starting lineup as long as they're not injured, right? Yeah, they're gonna have a week where they drop 8 points, but you're not really thinking about that part of your team. For me, I always had later quarterbacks. So last year, I switched. I ended the season with like 3 quarterbacks on my roster, and I was just like picking the one that had played the worst defense.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, so like it's just up to what you feel the most comfortable with. Do you want to think about your quarterback position? Then go ahead with the later round picks. If you don't, go with one of those blue chip guys at the beginning.
Yeah. 100%.
No.
All right, let's get into our sleepers. I got one guy I'm picking above ADP, one mid-round steal, and then a deep cut. And then
Yeah.
of course the dishonorable mention, do not draft.
Yeah. Um.
I'll go
Yeah.
first, I guess. Okay. Above ADP, I don't know how I went half an hour without talking to him. Bucky Irving, man. This is the
Of
biggest
course.
guy that's being discounted for this committee era that I'm talking about. It's a whole thing. I'll get into it one day, but everyone's like, "Oh, nope. Gainwell's there now and he can't get 50
To
touches
be
or
fair,
else he'll
you just said,
die."
you told them to draft Gainwell earlier in this.
I'm telling him to draft both, bro. I think it's a thing. I think two running backs can succeed, especially in an offense that's been proven to be able to help him. He's an efficient guy. He was hurt last year. I'm picking Bucky Irving early in the third round as well.
Yeah. For me, above ADP, I'm going with Quinshon Judkins. I said this
Yeah.
earlier. I'm reaching for him in that little dead zone of RBs. Like I'm not taking DeAndre Swift, unfortunately, but Quinshon Judkins, I'm reaching for in the third round, taking him above ADP there. That's a no-brainer for me. Whenever he had touches last year, he was just electric with the ball in his hands, and he's in an offense where there's not much else going on, so. He's got to run behind a pretty good offensive line in crappy weather out there in Cleveland. So,
Yep. I like it. For me, my mid-round steal, which, hey, just take it with a grain of salt. This is going to be like a later mid-round. But I love rookies. Give me Kenyon Sadiq. I think if we're like skipping past all these tight ends, if I don't get the top 4 guys, I'm not touching anyone until I can get Kenyon Sadiq in that late, like maybe even like 10th round. I think he's going to really like be that top second option for the Jets offense, at least like passing offense. And Gino's shown the ability to keep a floor on an offense. So I like Kenyon Sadiq in that like 9 through 11 range.
yeah, for me, mid-round steal, I'm going someone like Jordan Tyson. I mean, it's not really that much of a steal,
We
but
love
I think
rookies.
if it, we do love rookies in those mid rounds. Yeah, I think if you can get him like round 6 or 7, no pun intended.
Nice.
I think he would really be a nice fit on a team, but he's got to be like a bench wide receiver to start the season. Got to be somewhere in that like Buka type of role where if you need a late spark later in the season where your team's kind of just middle and around and you need someone to boom off your bench, I think you throw him in your lineup. But I just like what he could bring to the table. It's very speculative right now, but I liked him out there, and I think it was USC he played at, right?
Yeah.
Liked him out there, and liked what I saw so far on Twitter in camp. But yeah, I'm going Jordan Tyson, and another one just to throw in there, Jadarian Price. I already talked about him.
Yeah.
He kind of hit a spin move in camp, and now everyone wants him. So
Hey, I got Instagram too, man. I got Instagram too.
yeah.
But all right, this is gonna be the best part. Your deep cut. I'm talking 12th round and later. I'm talking not on draft boards, and of course, I'm talking about rookies. Rookies with possible opportunity are like the most exciting thing in fantasy football because they haven't done anything yet. Yep. So no one cares about them, but I do, and it's Nick Singleton. This is like if it's before the 12th round, like you're genuinely making a mistake because he currently has no path. No. Both those running backs have both those roles completely solidified in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. But I think Nick Singleton's really talented. I think Tony Pollard's on the wrong side of 27, which is a crazy statement. And I think Tajay Spears is ass and injured. Mm-hmm. And I just think he's an efficient guy. It's going to look really good over there. So I'd say if you need a late, oh my God, I need a running back that doesn't have to play yet, give me Nick Singleton.
Yeah. For me, unfortunately, I'm not going a rookie. I mean, I'll throw a rookie in there, but Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper for the Jets, like you said. Gino could hold the floor. But I liked him last year, and I don't know why he's all the way down here at the bottom of these boards, but Bretton Strange for the Jaguars. Bretton Strange for the Jaguars. I mean, if you somehow look at your team and you realize, crap, I forgot to get a tight end, and all those guys are gone, even like the Jawan Johnsons, the Kenyon Sadiqs, Bretton Strange will be right there for you in that round 13 to 15 range. And he's the tight end one over there in Jacksonville. And I don't know, he didn't do the worst last year. He scored about 8 to 9 points a game. I mean, out of a tight end that you just need to throw into your lineup, it's kind of they're just there for you,
Yeah.
So Bretton Strange is someone just, if he's there and you forgot a tight end, might as well just draft him.
I think that's a really good dart throw. Like we've been saying the whole time, invest in good offenses.
Exactly.
All right, so time for our do not draft. And for mine, you're going to have to take it with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, if he's there in like the millionth round, you have to take him. It's not really a choice. Nico Collins. I'm not drafting you this year. I'm not. It's an offense that's been falling off a cliff. That offense hasn't gotten vertical in years. There's something about it that feels like this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back over there, and something's going to happen that just completely negates him from the situation. Call it voodoo. I don't trust what's going on in Houston.
Yeah, it's that voodoo down there. But for me, I'm learning from my mistake of last year. I had the 7th overall pick, and I drafted a young running back in a terrible offense who was drafted high overall in Nash and Genty, and it didn't work out for me. Traded him for Chase Brown, but for that reason, I'm staying away from Jeremiah Love this year, and I think he's falling down a few boards. Started off this season, the fantasy season, going high to like the 8th pick. But now he's falling into that early 2nd round range, and I hope he falls even further because I don't think he's going to be that good regardless. I don't think he's going to be that good even if he wasn't on the Cardinals. That's another story. But I don't think he's going to be that good because the Cardinals are not going to be that good. And, outside of Trey McBride, I'm staying away from everyone on that offense with a 10-foot pole. And even Trey McBride, too high of a draft pick for me to sink into a bad, bad, bad offense. Unless my boy Carson Beck starts, and then I'll draft him. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm staying away from Jeremiah Love. I already made that mistake last year with Ashton Genty. If Jeremiah Love is, the income of Adrian Peterson, you can color me wrong, but I learned my lesson last year, and I'm going to stick to more proven players and better offenses, or rookies and better offenses. Um, but just better offenses in general. I can't take the risk on something like that, and at the price they're going at.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah.
You guys can let us know what you think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we nailed it. But you want to pull up the mock draft, and I'll go over just a couple things that we generally talked about. Just like big lessons, big takeaways. One thing is, I would try and get my second running back before round 5. I think that was something we kind of beat on pretty hard. Like that's just, it's for the better, I think.
Yeah.
And feel free to wait on your QBs. Their elite QBs are just not always the most necessary thing. And I had a third one that I forgot, and it was so good. I don't know. Don't be afraid to reach, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Do not
okay.
be afraid.
Everybody reaches.
Don't be afraid of what your stupid league mate who's never won a title is gonna say.
Yeah. Just because, that's just what it is. If you're going to get your guy, then you need, like, if he's really your guy, you're going to need to be willing to put that, you're going to have to be willing to put that to the test and take him above where you think he could go. So we're going to do a little mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be 1-5, you be 1-8. We're kind of on opposite sides of the coin here.
I'm taking where I'm drafting in the league I'm in with Ruel. I don't know. If
I
you
did
wanna
get
do
5
too.
in that league, right?
Okay. I think so. I think you were
Pretty
at
sure.
5. So yeah. So like I'm just gonna show you guys what I would do in a league against Ruel.
And I'm gonna watch closely.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Take some notes.
Okay, well, my plan was JSN anyway. Just gonna put that out there, but hell, bro, if I can get Jamar Chase at 105, like it's not gonna happen. But
yeah, see, I'm going Amon-Ra, like I said, right after. I don't know why it's not letting me draft. Right after here is where I think the drop off happens. And these two I'm not that high on, and they're going ahead of what I'm drafting, but. If they fall to me, I'm not really drafting them. Here, I'm looking at, like I said, I'm high on someone like Chase Brown, but I'm looking at going wide receiver, running back. And, it's really up between Omarion and Chase Brown. I'm going... Oh, that's actually hard. How much time do I have left?
if it makes you feel better, I was hoping to get Omarion in this range.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, damn.
Yeah.
You could just go for it.
It's one or the other, but I'm going Chase Brown just because of the PPR value. Again, I'm a PPR monster over here. I was about to say something worse, but yeah, PPR is really where I shine in that regard. So I'm going with Chase Brown there, and Josh Allen in the third round there at that turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and honestly,
it's just that you're giving up,
You're gonna hate me here, but I think the possible third round value on Malik Neighbors would be insane.
Yeah.
Like
Here,
just because what if he
I'm
is
taking
healthy?
Here I'm taking that risk and just going Kyron Williams. Yeah, the ability that Blake Corum is going to steal some touches is there, but Kyron has shown that he is, more than capable running back. And here's where I look at the wide receivers and realize that, the wide receivers that I want are still on the board later.
Yeah.
But the running backs I can see getting thin. So that's where I go reach for someone like Winjon here. Take him here. So now I have, my top 3 RBs for the rest of the season, basically. all on or two on the same bye, which kind of sucks. But my top three RBs for the rest of the season, and now I get to go target my wide receivers pretty heavily now. And the guy that I'm eyeing is still there on the board. If he falls to me, which he does, in DJ Moore, and DJ Moore here in the 5th round, I feel like
that would be really nice
as your wide receiver too. Is just gonna really be good, and I can't be a hypocrite and not take Brian Thomas here.
You kind of got me there. You put me in a little bit of a tough spot because these are running backs that I just don't want to touch.
Exactly, like you just don't want to touch them with a.
So I kind of want a high floor wide receiver, and honestly, like not a lot of these guys are getting that job done. And I know we said you don't want to touch bad offenses, so I'm picking Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers could sell me this season, but I kind of believe in him, and I'm kind of going to take him in some other spots. And here, I kind of want to double up. I already got my running backs that I'm happy with. I even snuck in a tight end while no one was looking. Chill. So give me that high upside, Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison. Kyler is going to do wonders. Promise.
And here's where I have a little bit of I'm leaning towards someone like Cortland Sutton, just because against good offense. Actually, I'm gonna take Cortland Sutton. I don't know why I'm waffling there. But there is a running back here that I want in that turn area, and if he gets there, I'll be very happy, and he does. In Kyle Monangai, and he's kind of just gonna be that fourth running back who's gonna come in whenever I need that spot start, which it looks like will be in week 11 based on my bye weeks. And I'm fine with that,
Yeah, and Kame's also the guy that everyone yells at because, god damn it, you have 4 running backs. Like, there's other positions on the field, bro.
Yeah.
And damn, I just got my boy snagged from me, and which makes me not really comfortable with going QB because I feel like there's a lot of good QBs left. Do I go tight end? Do I go wide receiver? You start to run out of time, and you invest in another bad offense. Give me Jaden Higgins. I love the talent there. And, hey, man, if Nico Collins does fall off, somebody's got to take the mantle. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Here I'm taking someone like Quentin Johnson who can, be in that be in that conversation for a wide receiver 1 out there. And here on that turn, take someone like Jaden Reed. And as you can see, guys, you can see my philosophy in clear effect here. There's no pink, orange, only blue, green in my team so far. And that's because I already know what 2 quarterbacks I'm going to take later on in the draft. And I already know what tight end I'm taking if he falls here.
For me, I just want to get in there real quick. I hate Bo Nix. Really not a Bo Nix guy at all.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the guy gets me points. And here, I'm reaching like crazy, but if 11th round is a reach, then you have problems. Like,
I mean,
you can't reach in the 11th round is what I'm trying to say with that.
You can't. So that's why I'm taking someone like Brenton Strange here. Finally a tight end off the board, And then, I know who I'm taking here, back-to-back picks. Like I said, someone like Tyler Shuck.
I don't know, man. I just feel like Tyler Shuck is just the fall off is too heavy.
The fall might be too heavy, but he's a big brawling quarterback that can run the ball, throw the ball over there, and it's going to be a good offense there in New Orleans over there. So I'm not really scared, and I'd rather take him over someone like C.J. Stroud. So
and you know what, guys? Don't take a kicker yet. Whatever you do, I'm picking randoms at this point, but don't. We're not even gonna do those picks.
Yeah.
We're just gonna shoot out a couple more sleepers.
We literally can't take anyone else on our benches, but this is what your team should look like after this. You should put your team on auto draft and go enjoy the rest of your night. I mean,
that's kind of just going to be about it. Thank you guys for watching. These are kind of draft strategies you want to look at. Kame, you got anything for us?
Yeah, stay away from that quarterback and tight end until your last two picks, essentially.
They're irrelevant. They're not going to be
irrelevant.
necessary.
They're not going to be necessary until your quarterback drops 0 points in a week, and then you can come back to this video and comment that you hate me. But
I had a negative
until that
points
happens
for my quarterback once. So
yeah, that does happen because they can throw picks. So
yeah, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.